All right. Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday. Uh, my name is Sean with Memes IT. Glad you could catch us. Glad I could catch you. Uh, been a while. Been trying to improve the systems that I have to better broadcast to you all. Um, yeah, so if you're headed out of town, going up to Chimayo, be mindful of all the walkers. Right now, in Santa Fe, New Mexico, it's 66 degrees. I guess that goes along with Route 66. So, looks like we might catch some rain at some point today. Looking to top out at 70 degrees, and I imagine once that happens, we may get some rain. Much needed, much appreciated. And Saturday looks like the high is going to be 61, so we'll have a cooling trend that will last until Monday. Overnight, Sunday, be 37 degrees. And I want to say, what's up to Espanola, New Mexico? Today is the day. If you're unfamiliar with Espanola, it happens to be the lowrider capital of the world. So, lots of good folks out there in Espanola, wrapping up their horse against some post somewhere and walking around the house, the homestead, to the barn or the garage, and there they are taking off that blanket off that 64 Impala or whatever Cadillac they decided to chop and drop in the fair city of Espanola, New Mexico. And that's just north of Santa Fe, on the way to Chimayo. You can get to Chimayo in a couple different ways, but just want to say what's up. Today's the day. Everybody brings out those elaborate rides that take months, in some cases years, to build. Just an awesome event. Today is the big day for Espanola, and I'm calling all of you car guys, all you guys in the car clubs, all of you ladies in the car clubs, because there are some ladies that really put in a lot of hard work when it comes to getting a ride together, especially in the fair city of Espanola, lowrider capital of the world. Just wanted to let you know, in case you didn't know, all of you fans from around the world. And I've been checking. I see you. I see all of you. Thank you for watching. Please like us on Facebook and subscribe if you want to get messages when I am broadcasting or when we decide to do some sort of video to help the community, the rest of us, as I like to say. Memes IT for the rest of us, I think is a fair, accurate, if you're familiar with how much it costs to get any type of help out here. Sure, that they'll be willing to help for an awful lot of money, for an arm and a leg. Big ups to Steve Stucker, Steve at KOB4. If you're not a fan of Steve Stucker, then you just haven't seen him yet. He's the weatherman over there, head guy. No, actually, he didn't want that. He didn't want all that flashy title and all that. There's a younger guy who's a pretty good weatherman. You know, I guess he's the lead meteorologist there. But Steve Stucker, let me tell you about Steve. Steve is just happens to be the most the happiest meteorologist I have ever witnessed, and somehow keeps me interested in the weather, whereas other weathermen just seem to just go on. It's amazing, like a 20-minute segment on whether or not it's gonna rain. Steve has a natural ability to take something as mundane as the weather and put a little shine on it. And I guess he'll be our fixer of the day. Fixer of our Friday, this April 18th, 2014. If you're still here, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're still here. I'm still here, and we're going to try to do the best we can with what we got right here where we are. And I stole it, yes. I stole it, and I changed it around, and it belongs to Arthur Ashe. And if you like to Google that, please be my guest. Going to give you a little bit of traffic, let you know how it's going. And if you're in Espanola, you already know the SCO from Baltimore to Kokomo. Big up to Larry Scott, H-Town, guy who actually taught me how to pick and grin, and a whole lot of other stuff, like what was shining up there above my head at night, all of our heads. And we used to go out to the beach in Galveston and do bonfires and all that good stuff. You have no idea what a good time is until you actually go out with LD and the crew to Galveston. We got to do a reunion on that. Some real special times out there. Bolivar? Was it Bolivar? I believe so. We had a security guard come by once an hour just to make sure ain't nobody burned themselves up. Namely, moi, yours truly, which almost happened. Almost happened. If anything, I had some real good friends to save my hide on a couple occasions. But in Santa Fe, New Mexico, the usual suspects, you know, if you live here, just what it's like at those stop signs around all those fancy restaurants, and which are some good ones, by the way. But usual suspects as you come into, as you get around the plaza, most of you out-of-towners and visitors, thank you for coming and spending lots of payola. We will yield to your traffic and allow you to find your way through our fair city. Everybody feels unanimous on this. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you coming out every year, year after year, just to come visit. So, and we take exception to that as far as we kind of cool our heels, cool our jets and tempers, because we know just how valuable your visits are. So thank you. And those are the usual suspects. As you get around St. Michael's and Santa Fe, of course, you're going to run into Cerrillos, the road that takes you to the big city. Well, 14 goes to 25, and then it goes to the big city. But we'll go that way first. Of course, as you get around the mall, it's going to be absolutely madness because of Johnny Depp's movie. All you techies out there, Transcendence is in theaters, and boy, I can tell you it is a madhouse. That movie is probably going to break some records for sure, and I'm sure it was a no-brainer for Johnny Depp to agree to that movie. So if you see it, drop us a line, let us know how it went. I can't wait to see it myself. But as we get out and we're heading out of town to the big city, as most of you are, it's nothing but a big old green light. You're all the way clear until you get downtown to Central, and then you know the score. It's party time on Central right now. So, and it'll probably be that way all weekend long. So it'll probably be going on while Mass is happening. So let's go the other way. Let's head out to Espanola, lowrider capital of the world. If you are receiving this in Espanola, please give me and us a call here at Memes IT. We would like to introduce you to the 21st century and get you guys monetized for this great title that you have that I feel is underutilized. I believe that we can overcome the old school Espanola objections, which are the same objections that have been there in place for hundreds of years. So it's a huge hurdle, but I believe, just like with the marijuana thing or cannabis, that as soon as somebody can see the money and the opportunity, that all those objections just kind of melt away, if you will. But yeah, it's looking good in Espanola, except for when you get down to the main drag there that goes right along to Walmart. Unfortunately and fortunately, there is a place for everyone to meet up, and it's usually at the Walmart. And the one with the big, you'll see a big radio tower in the sky. If you really want to check out some really good rides, all you got to do is make it into Espanola. Fair warning, once you get there, there will be slow going because the big dads in black, the Smokies, whatever you want to call them, they are out in force to make sure that nobody ODs out there or starts doing anything stupid, which it could happen, but usually it doesn't. This is a big day for everybody to actually enjoy and celebrate. So that's usually what happens in Espanola, is a lot of celebrating. And, you know, it takes a long time. I mean, unless you just have the unlimited resources or you are independently wealthy and can get somebody else to do it for you, it takes a long time to create a beautiful ride that is road-worthy and has its Espanola stamp on it. All right? And this is the thing that I want to get Espanola to be able to capitalize on, because Roswell, not 10 years ago, was still a very small place. All right? And it took a little bit of time, but now Roswell is booming because of they are capitalizing, they're using their mojo. And they have a museum with UFOs and all kinds of stuff about 1947. All right? But they are capitalizing on it, and it's paid off. The city has grown by leaps and bounds. As a matter of fact, we went there for my birthday one year, and I told some friends that I was working with, and they were like, "You don't want to go there. There ain't nothing there." And we went anyway, of course. Of course. And it was amazingly different from the descriptions of the people that had been there previous years before. And so I can only attribute, there's a couple of companies there that employ people full-time, and they have been for several years, but I kind of contributed to their mojo, which is their UFO museum. And I believe that Espanola can do the same thing, pull it off, especially when some of the most powerful companies in the world are willing to allow you to do this stuff for free, like Facebook, Google+, YouTube, and I'm saying get in while it doesn't cost arm and a leg, or while it's still affordable, which is free. As long as you have an internet connection and the equipment to make it happen. Aha! Aha! So remember, the rules, though. Number one rule at Memes IT is to stay free. Number two is to be good to yourself. And number three is to be good to others. So whatever you're planning, make sure you have all three of those things. And if you're at a red light right now checking this show out, thank you very much. We sure do appreciate it. Drop us a line and let us know how you found us so that we can do that again. So that we can do that some more. Or we can get some more viewers that like the show. So I'm going to give you some, today's show, of course, is going to be kind of brief because it's so nice outside. It is sunny. There's hardly any wind as of right now, and that should change briefly. But currently, it is a dream out there. So at the top of the list is there's a German media boss that says that he's afraid. He's scared. He's scared. He's scared. He's scared. He's scared of Google. He's scared of Google, he says. And he wants to pass that fear on to you. And I say, as long as you're on the right side of the law, allegedly, everything should be fine. And that rule has been broken several times in this state. But however, it's gotten better and better and better. And I believe that it's going to get better and better as well in the big city. I got to say that I was thoroughly impressed with Albuquerque and its citizenry and how they came together peacefully, minus a couple of right-wingers, We call them nut jobs. You can call them whatever you want, but just extremists tried to break up the peaceful atmosphere that was happening there. And some things did get out of hand. And now that things are acknowledged as far as things being done wrong, what is vowed to happen is that people are going to come together and figure out a way to make it better. Now that it is acknowledged by local government that there is an issue, or there are several issues, they're asking anyone who wants to, who cares to deliver a message, to come to. I believe it's next Friday. Don't quote me on that. Check that out for yourself. But they are asking if you have any ideas, if you have any suggestions on how to proceed from this point on. Please show up and let us know so that we can put it on a list, and then we're going to go through and figure out what the best ideas are and put that together. So big ups there. I mean, I am thoroughly impressed by that. The way in which it transpired, the way in which it happened, the way in which there was a problem, and then the sensible people came back again and said, no, we don't feel like those people. We feel like this. And we're going to do this and such and thus forth. And so, if you haven't lived in the West, then you don't have a clue what I'm talking about. But it really is the wild, wild West out here. So when people do things very sensibly, that impresses me very much so, because what you get, what we're fed over the airwaves is a total different thing from what is reality. So when people come together like that, that's our America. That's why we're patriots, because it is possible to do things the correct way. It is possible, and I'm impressed. Big ups, ABQ. So Lava Bite loses contempt peel. If you don't know about that, don't worry about it. Big news in tech world is Dotcom wins back all of his stuff, all his toys that they took away from him when they invaded his house out there on the island in which he lives. They gave him back. They gave him back all his stuff. So that actually it wasn't anybody other than New Zealand's a New Zealand judge saying, okay, this is malicious prosecution and it's gone on long enough, and I'm writing this off and saying give him back his stuff. Oops, sorry about that. And slammed the gavel down and just made an executive wise decision in my book, because there's a such thing. If you do something wrong, sure, you should have to answer for it. Even if it's alleged, you should still have to answer for it if somebody makes such a big deal and there's a little bit of proof. And if you answer to it and you stand up and not run, because this guy, he could have ran. He actually has he had long enough pockets to just take a whole bunch of money out and book. But he didn't. He didn't. And I find that some of the wisest people, even if they have to do a little time, realize that running, it only makes the situation worse. So and if you look at Dotcom, no offense, Mr. Dotcom, but you know what? His whole constitution is all about not running. he's going to stand his ground, and he did. And congratulations to him, because at least one authority, at least one authority found that enough was enough. Allegedly. So you can check that story out as well at bbc.com, news and technology. So another headline that is popping out is the cyborg glasses express fake emotion. So you got your Google Glass, and there's going to be a whole bunch. Let me tell you, folks, if you are a tinkerer, all right, there's a massive rush for two things, all right. Cyborg glasses or Google Glass type hardware, allegedly, and then there are the 3D printers. So if you know anything about that kind of stuff and you have some ideas, if you start tinkering and come up with a good idea, then you need to get a lawyer. Or no, lawyer. The term lawyer is really reserved for when you're in hot water. When you are going about something for business, it's called attorney, an attorney. So you only really hear lawyer when it's bad news. So if you do come up with a great idea, I suggest, number one, is that you consult with someone who is in that has a law degree that does these type of patents and all that kind of stuff on a regular basis. Because if you show the wrong person your idea, it's over. It's over. So be smart, be adventurous, but use some planning and use some wisdom when it comes to showing off your new idea. Because just like that, cue Napster, cue whoever you want, but it can happen. It can happen. I mean, some people actually think that Albert, Mr. Einstein, Dr. Einstein, might have had a little help on some things, but he never profited off of any patents, really. The kind of stuff that he was that he was doing were kind of like contributions to the world. So he wasn't really, money wasn't really his thing. He didn't give a damn about. He cared an awful lot about light. Light. If you study Albert Einstein, so check him out. He was a heavy on light. Any kind of light ray, how it comes around the earth, and how it, when the sun is in a certain, he was fascinated with it, and it paid off to him because it wasn't about money to him. It was about the understanding of an idea and proving that it was real, and he could do that. So when we think about how to get more money all day, Albert Einstein is just constantly crunching numbers and doing formulas in his head, and he was perfectly happy with that. And we're so lucky that actually he was, because it, and some people say, well, what's so good about it? All they did was take his information and create something very horrible. And we can choose to look at it that way, or we can choose to look at it another way. So I always like to believe that there's far greater good in the world than there is bad, but I hope you feel that way. Would you feel that way with me today? So Google shares, not doing too good. As a matter of fact, if you do become a partner, even if you don't, share with other people that Google is now paying through the nose, and it seems like they can afford it, but not really. When you're losing money, you're losing money. It doesn't matter who you are. And that's never a good thing if it's just going out the window. If it's going to a certain cause or charity that is for the goodwill of man, then that's a good thing. But if it's just going down the drain, that's never good. And if you're using their search engine right now in a mobile phone, it's costing them millions. It's costing them millions. And people say, who cares? Who cares? Well, now that they're public, even before that, there is a group of people that are expecting a certain return. So if they don't get that, that means that like this stuff right here, this free stuff would go away. So it's not good that they would lose money. So if you get a chance, change your mobile phone app for searching over to something other than Google, so that we can help keep this thing alive, because this is great, and I can't wait. So what we're talking about is weddings. We're talking about birthdays, all right? We're talking about all these things and these wonderful events where your family members all around the world might not be able to attend. However, if you sign up for an account and you have the right equipment and the broadband, you can do something like this for the rest of your family that can't attend the event. So you can start a Google event, and everybody will be happy. Right now, it's free, and if we can save Google a little bit of money, and yeah, you might say, oh, you Google poster child or whatever like that. Yeah, well, hey, the reason I took all those other advertisements down from here is because those people aren't paying me, and in a way, Twitter, Google, Facebook, YouTube is paying me, because they're supporting me right now. And otherwise, this wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't be able to afford if these things didn't exist, if they didn't just say, hey, what the hell, let's do it, So love that about young entrepreneurs, man. They don't forget. They don't seem to forget, or they're never really allowed to. Even if people try to tell them, screw that, they always seem to remember where they came from. So, thanks, Mark, and all of your gang out there. Thanks for keeping this free. Appreciate it. So we'll go on to. I said it before, and I'll say it again. And wisdom pays and pays. Crime pays in time. So, cue our next story. First heartbleed hacker arrested. That's right. That's right. That's right. Pay attention, all you bad guys all around the world. First heartbleed hacker arrested. So, there it is. Wisdom pays and pays. Crime pays in time, for sure. And I can only imagine that whoever that kid is, they would have wished, they are probably wishing right now. Because, sometimes ideas sound good until you factor in the booty house. All right? If you throw booty house in the mix to any idea, and if there's a path that leads from that place, from where you are to the booty house, skip it. Just forget about it, because it's not worth it. No matter, you think you might have a proxy, you think you might have a burner phone, you think you might have anonymity. What is that new app came out a couple years ago? Might have been about a year and a half ago, where it records, and then when you're done in a certain amount of time, it disappears. Yeah, kids think that is secret. Bad guys think that that's a secret. There is no secrets. I heard a very educated man who is in technology, has his hand on the pulse of the technological world. And you know what he said? He said the internet should be given back to the people so that they can do art and share all this stuff that it was created for. And I just looked over at my wife. We were driving somewhere, and I said, honey, did you hear that? That's not even true. That is by no means the truth. However, it's a nice dream. It is a nice dream. Anyone can believe that story if they would like to. If you choose to believe that the internet was just created for games and porn and just doing whatever you want, then you can continue to believe it. This is America, after all. You can believe whatever. You can be whoever you want, right? But the truth is that the internet was not created for fun, and was a utility that was created. And I'm not going to go into the whole story, but go see Eli the Computer Guy about it over at his channel, because he has the best explanation that I have ever heard, and it is 110% true. Okay, he's not he has no reason to smooze you or blow smoke up. Really. And I just thought, how strange. This man knows more than the common man in the streets about the internet, and he was spewing out bullshit. And it was so unfair. It was so unfair, because it's not true. It wasn't created so that you can chat with your friends. And here's a little story that must be told, okay? If you don't know it, if you never heard me tell it, my great-grandmother, Mama Dookie, would whoop our asses if we borrowed something from somebody. And she had some really good reasons for that I didn't understand then, that I totally understand now. And I won't go into that story because I've already told it. But the truth of the matter is, all of this stuff belongs to the United States of America. And whenever you take anything, or whenever you use something that isn't yours, then you have to deal with the stipulations that come along with it. And this is the thing that people feel that they have a natural born right to certain things, and it's actually wrong, because most of the things that we take for granted in our great country is that most things are a privilege. They're not a right. All right? We have a privilege to say what the hell we want when we want to say it, and dress the way we want to dress, and screw who we want to screw. But that's not a right. That's a privilege. We agree with it, so we stay here, and we try to make the best of a very good situation. And most people don't know how good they got it because they've never been anywhere. They don't know nothing about nothing. See? So, of course, we're like spoiled kids until we go even just, down across the water or across the Rio Grande, and then it really sinks in that, wow, whoa, the things I'm complaining about are nothing. I'm complaining about nothing. So if you never go anywhere, you don't know how. We really don't know how good we got it. But back to the story, if you borrow something, it's all about that other person's, it's their stuff, so it's their right. Okay? It's our privilege to borrow it. It's their right. So when we bring it back, it should be in the condition that we borrowed it. This is the thing that my great-grandmother, Ma Dukes, Brooklyn, New York, said that, if I catch, and if she ever did, she would really, I'm not talking about what you young ladies and young men think is a whooping. I'm talking about an ass whooping. I'm talking about with anything that's in the arm's reach. And sometimes we had to actually, and it's true, we had to go pick out 3 good switches. Not no wimpy switches, but the kind that cut the air when you barely flick your wrist, and it had to be real good. And then you would have to sit there while she braided them up, because she was from Carolina. See, you don't know nothing about that fast. She's from Carolina. Braid them up, and then commence to whooping your ass with it. And you picked them. Extension cords, broom handles, pots, pans, whatever was close. And sometimes the torture of going to find something that is good enough to get your ass whipped with. And you better cry. If you don't cry, it's going to be worse. So we really don't. We don't know how good we got it. And if you really think about it, if you ever get a government loan, yeah, you can get one. Yes. However, there are stipulations with it. Why? Because it's not yours. It's somebody else's. It's somebody else's. People are encouraged in certain religions to lend money to other people. However, they're also encouraged to make sure they get it back. And that's their right to try to get the monies back. It's our privilege to be able to borrow it. However, Ma Dukes, she wasn't having none of that. You bet not. Nothing. Not a pen. Not a piece of paper. Just trifling, right? Well, she turned out, her wisdom is very strong. Her wisdom was very strong. May she rest in peace. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. But you have to understand those things, that this is our privilege to have the internet. It's not a right. It's not a right. It's actually a tool and a utility that we actually have come to depend on now. I don't like that, but that's the fact. Most of the planes that our people are flying on, there's no more cables in those planes. So if it goes down, or if you lose all power, you lose everything. You can't steer it because there's no more cables to work the yoke, to be able to work the rudder and turn and put the flaps down and be able to coast on the air brakes and all that. Now, if the power goes out and the batteries don't work, forget it. You're flying by wire is what they call it. fly-by-wire. So a lot of the things that what the vision that you have about the real world, and that's fine. That's in your head. That's in your head. That doesn't really match the terrain because it's not what's really happening. So when you see a plane, or when older people see a plane, they think that there's somebody, you can steer all that stuff without any power. No, none of that. That's over with. It's all computerized. So, and that's also in the news. Google is they can't wait, and I love the idea, and I hope that it's used for the right reasons. But they have allegedly gotten into partnership, if not just outright purchase. I believe it was purchased allegedly, a company that makes these gliders, or these they call them drones, that are solar. That they don't really need to land, as long as they can stay above cloud cover. They're charging up as they go, and they can fly around all night. They only need to come down for maintenance, allegedly. So, and the reason that they're doing that is to pipe Wi-Fi, down to the ground, where people that in rural areas don't get a chance to connect can connect. So I think it's a great idea. However, several people, including people close to me, think it's a horrible idea. I just think it's an absolute horrible idea. I think it's a great idea. Just like anything. And I'll say this again, I've said it a million times. Anything can be used to hurt people. And I heard a young man over in Ukraine say this today. He says, somebody could walk in here and kill me with a toothpick or a fork, and that's not a weapon per se. But if you take away guns, that doesn't mean necessarily anything, because we know from our southwestern brethren, our southern brethren down in Mexico, and hearts out to Mexico. I was going to say machete. Machete doesn't require reloading, and it's been a weapon of choice for years. And it doesn't need to be recharged. It doesn't need to be reloaded. Bullets don't have to be capped. None of that. It's just an out-and-out cutting machine. It does the job. And this is what the man was saying in Ukraine. But I digress. I want to say hearts out to Mexico. They just had a 7.2 on the Richter scale earthquake. And we just lost a great writer, Gigi, Gabriel Garcia. And he just passed away, 86. He had been in poor health or ailing health for a few years now. But he wrote one of the greatest novels, something about being alone for 100 years. But people say that I haven't read it yet. That's on my list when I go to the library. I have to say it that way, or my wife just loses it on me. Library. So I'm gonna check that book out, because see what everybody's talking about, because one person in the literary world was quoted as saying that it should be required reading for every person on the planet Earth. That's how good the book is supposed to be. So we lost him, but day after that, there's a 7.2 earthquake, and I'm hoping that everybody is okay. We have some friends and family that live in that region, college students and all kinds of stuff. But we just hope that everybody's all right, and our hearts go out to them. And as is the same for the favelas in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Unfortunately, the authority teams just decided that they were going to go ahead and, before the Olympics, just enforce their will upon all of the people there, whether they are doing things good or bad. They just want to make sure that it's going to be a safe place. Unfortunately, I just hope that as we get more and more technology, that we actually strategize and find out better ways to actually do things when it comes to dealing with people that live in certain areas when big money-making things come along. It seems that the common man just gets the shaft. And I hope that as we get smarter with technology, I hope that we get smarter with our neighbors, because I think that's important. In Wired.com, they're talking about 3D printing fabrics that can turn your threads or your rags into MP3 players. So, and I would check that out. That's on Wired.com. And of course, the big story headline is Silicon Valley is taking on a new enterprise that is primarily cannabis. Mary Jane, marijuana, weed, whatever your nice term for herbs is. Silicon Valley is getting in on the rush. They call it a weed rush. I don't know, what do you call it? Anyway, they can't wait, and that story is there. I'm going to read more about that. I primarily wanted to talk to you today about the heartbleed and other things that may infect and infest your machine. It doesn't have to happen. Whether you're a mom or a dad that is tired of losing countless amounts of hours trying to get your computer back in order after your kids have wrecked it because they just downloaded whatever the internet said to download. They didn't think about it whatsoever. They just clicked, yeah, I want that. Click, yeah, I want smiley faces. Yes. Good stuff. I want it all, Dad. And then you get back and you can't even use your machine, and you really need to do something. So you got to be a schmuck, or you got to be a putz, or you got to be a herb, or you got to be a hack, and go down. And you know that time is very valuable. So you have to go down to like Kinko's or some place that'll rent you internet for like, what, $15 an hour because your kids wrecked your machine because they just downloaded everything. So here's Just Browsing. Go to justbrowsing.info. Save you all kinds of trouble. Save you all kinds of time and money. Justbrowsing.info, and hit download and download the ISO and burn it to a CD, read only. So that would be CD-ARA. ARA. CD-ARA. And then you don't have to worry about losing your stuff. You show your kids how to boot this up, all right, and let them use the internet on this, and then you don't have to worry about not being able to use your machine. And I encourage parents all over the world, let your kids use your electronic equipment or buy them some cheap stuff. Speaking of which, talking about cheap stuff, you can get a coffee house machine from Cyber Network, New Mexico, all right, for most of the time $100 or less. And that's what you want, is something you can just run just browsing on. Doesn't have to be pretty, and it damn sure doesn't have to be expensive, and it'll work just the same as a new computer would, because the operating system or the live browser is on the CD. That means nothing can be written to it. That means that, oh no, you got a virus. Oh no, white smoke. You can't get off that white page. And you're stuck. And the last thing perhaps that was going on was a bunch of porn. And you don't want to take it to get it fixed, because all the techs will just die laughing at what you were watching before white smoke popped up. You don't have to worry about the FBI money pack, which is another fake virus, because of just browsing. All right? So all of you techies out there that might be advanced, you can also go to my site, memesit.com, and you can check out USB, Hack USB. You can learn where to get the USB imager from so that you can put live operating systems on a flash drive. However, if you don't know what you're doing, go for the live CD. It's foolproof, right? It's foolproof. So whether you're a mom and dad or whether you're a spring chicken out practicing, just browsing.info, folks. All right? And that message was brought to you by your friendly neighborhood ninja, K. Sean with Memes IT. Before we go, I would like to wish you all well. I would like to wish you a happy Easter Sunday or Easter weekend. I hope that stay sober if you're in New Mexico. And you heard it here first. It'll save you $10,000 to $20,000. Okay, because it's a fallacy. If you think that you can drink, which lowers your inhibitions, which makes you Superman, right? And hold on to some keys, you're damn right you're going to drive. There is no drinking and don't drink and drive. Yeah, right. If you're drinking and you got keys, guess what's going to happen? You're going to drive to the store to get some more. And that's the easiest way to violate rule number 1. What's rule number 1? Stay free or stay out of the booty house. Number 2, be good to yourself. Number 3, be good to others. Until next time, I'm Sean with memesit.com. Thank you for visiting. And if you liked it, hit like. If you'd like to hear another one of these or share some time or catch some headlines, subscribe. Thanks.